Nice. Right, it's working.
Beautiful.
Hello there. How is everybody today? It's Richie here from Dowie After Dark. I am joined by the Mountain. How is everybody?
I did what I could going through. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the amateur who's watching the stream while being in the stream.
Nice. Right, how's that working, mate? All good?
Beautiful. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. We've just had a little bit of a chat beforehand, and I think we've both had some really, really busy week and weekends. So it's been my partner's birthday this weekend.
Ooh.
So haven't managed to do much hobby stuff really, apart from I did manage to paint an anvil, but that's pretty much about it. Which was good. I managed to like sneak off and do a little bit of painting. So what have you been up to, mate?
I spend like the most of my time painting. I barely did any painting this week. I have been recording battle reports like crazy. I think everybody just frees up their time in the spring and wants to record battle reports. So yeah, I've been filming and playing and filming. It's been a busy week, but you can't complain when you're all day every day is Warhammer. So
Yeah, I suppose you can't complain too much. You are literally
yeah,
living the dream, right?
yeah, it's too true.
So
I
what?
know it.
What's the stuff that you've got coming out there, mate?
Well, so interesting enough, I've been recording a lot of reports with the legacy armies using up the square-based Renegade pack. So I think every army of them that I haven't already put out. I've got coming out a battle report with the legacy rules. In fact, I actually had a few recorded that were recorded before the legacy reveal or legacy pack came out. So I have some that are coming out without those. So yeah, too many battle reports, but it's all old world. And I was able to record 3 Horse Heresy battle reports. So those will start going out on my Horse Heresy channel this week.
Nice, love to see it,
Yeah.
mate. How are you finding the Renegade packs? So I haven't done a dedicated video about the Renegade packs because I've been speaking to Val and I'm going to get him on my channel to talk through everything because I
Beautiful.
think he was going to do a couple of little changes like a couple of weeks later. So I was going to get him on to talk through that once he's made those changes. So I didn't really want to do one beforehand because obviously you and a few other YouTubers
We all
had
jumped on it,
jumped on
right?
there. Yeah.
No, I think Val did a fantastic job. He was appropriately light touched on everything, because you could have easily went heavy handed and then split the community. I think just about every change in that book was as you're reading it, it's like, yeah, that's how it should have been day one. Yeah, that's how I kind of figured it should be. Like, there's nothing like outlandish or wild in there. So I think it's damn good. I'm keeping my eye on Lizardman, worried that maybe too many changes, like because they're all very minor changes, but they're all minor changes and exactly what you expect them to be, like what they should have been from day one. But when you put them all together, I'm like, I'm doing really well belligerent right now. So that's the only one I'm keeping an eye on. And I'm still worried about demons. Like, don't get me wrong, I think they're a lot of fun to play with and against, but I don't think even with their 5 up war save all the time, they're gonna shake up the meta in any way. They're still a little weak. I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see though. Like, we haven't seen any of the ramifications from those changes. I think the changes to Chaos Dwarves are going to make them very strong. I don't know if potentially there might be some kind of backtracks on those. Potentially, I'm not sure.
What chaos force changes do you think are making them strong?
It's the fact that you can put the hero level guy on a Taurus. So you could put
Oh.
the BSB guy on one of the Tauruses. So then you can just have loads of the really high toughness monsters flying around. Because there's a super strong build now, which is it's a toughness 7 or a toughness 8 Taurus.
Yep.
And then you've got the 2 toughness 7, the chariots running around, the Iron Demons as well. And it's kind of like a stat check army, right? Like if your army
Mhm.
can't deal with it, then you've kind of got a bit of almost a rubbish game. So I don't know if maybe adding an even cheaper one of them into the army is for the good of the game, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
I love
Alex,
not
yeah,
being worried about Wild Tide with toughness 7.
yeah, exactly. It's the same as the toughness and anvil. You don't really have to worry about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So Cliff, with the ogres, I think there was a slight because the change to the cannon not being 360 anymore is a little bit of a sideways nerf for the ogres, right?
Well, the thing is, I know many people have been playing it that can only fire in the front arc since the first FAQ, where the steam tank, the oh geez, there's others. there's other chariot cannon type things that were in the core armies that were FAQ to be like only fire in the front arc. So I think myself and my whole group kind of assumed it applied to the ogre cannon anyway.
Yeah, so I think everybody who I've played against has kind of gone the other way, really, because
Really?
because it got mentioned for the Steam Tank and didn't get mentioned for that. Then everyone's kind of gone right. So I've got a 360 no scoper that's going to be just like shooting around corners and stuff. Like one of my friends, Jack Cropper, he's been running that really well, and it's just a nuisance when he's got two of them running around. Yeah, nightmares.
Yeah, I just figured it's a toughness 6 chariot with a decent amount of attacks and a cannon, all for like a really reasonable price. The 360 shooting I'm okay with not having.
Yeah, no, that is
Oh, but
true.
then again, because it's a chariot, it doesn't have the option to. You have to like aim it in the movement phase. You don't have the option to. Ah, okay. I can see a bit of an argument, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think the ogres needed a little side grade. Thank you very much, Jason. Appreciate it. Welcome. So I don't know. I really like some of the Renegade stuff. I think some of it will shake it up a bit. Before we get any further, I do just want to clarify that I've got a really red face for anybody that is worried that I'm dying at home. I was in the beer garden on my missus's birthday the entire day on Saturday, and I burned all the undersides of my eyelids. So I'm not dying. I'm just burned, unfortunately.
Wait, hold on for a Canadian? What's a beer garden, and why
All
don't I
right.
have one?
So, so basically, the British institution of the pub. So the beer garden is just a seat outside. So when it gets above 15 degrees in England, we like to sit outside and drink beer, basically.
Got it.
So we've like it's unseasonably really warm in the UK at the moment. So I was out in the beer garden all weekend, and I burned all of my face. It doesn't actually look as bad on stream as it does in real life, but I'm basically like a lobster from that way. I think it was like reflecting in my beer up into my face. Uh, so it's all like I'm like undershadowed with red currently, which is kind of hilarious, right?
There are worse ways to spend a weekend, and I guess there's worse outcomes from it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like considering I'm in my 30s, I'm surprised I'm not still dead from the weekend, but it's all right. managed to get some painting done. Also, I did manage to get my hands on the Games Day Dwarf
Yep.
Standard Bearer.
Yep.
So I managed to get this in the post, which I'm pretty happy about. So that's going to be going into my army. As
Beard
I
curls up
am
into his hand.
Yes, yeah, such a cool model. As I'm literally redoing my entire dwarf army, but with old hammer models. So painting them up as Carrick Hearn. So that's going quite well at the moment. Having a lot of fun with that. I will get some pictures posted of that in the future. So what have you been up to paint wise, mate? As you are just horrendously painting loads, right?
Well, so I mean, since the start of the Old World, actually before Old World was officially released, I made a kind of a plan to build and paint a massive version of every army of the old Warhammer Fantasy, and I'm at the point where I pretty much got that done. My really enough, the Tomb Kings are the last one to be done. There's one tray of miniatures left, and they'll be done this week. But I just recently, some Hiles were one of my main armies forever. I had a massive Hiles army, all old metal miniatures. I like the new plastic ones, so I actually just finished getting them almost completely replaced with plastic miniatures. So I got nothing. There's nothing for me to buy and paint for the old world at all. I have here's my first world problems through and through. I've done it all. I've painted it all. I own it all. The only thing I need is some Skyhunter chariots, and they're not out yet. So
Oh,
yeah,
mate,
I don't
that's a
know. I
nightmare.
guess I'll have to start painting Heresy or something.
Yeah, either do the heresy or just go back and do the old hammer version of each of the armies. So now if you've got
Oh,
like a sixth, yeah, so if you've got like sixth and eighth now, go back and do the fourth and fifth. Done.
so
Hobby challenge.
the thing about that, the funny thing about that is, I actually do prefer the look of the old metal miniatures, probably because of nostalgia. And I prefer painting metal over plastic. I probably for nostalgia, but as a guy who plays constantly, I am so tired of playing with metal miniatures. I knock over the trays all the time. They slide down hills. I never want to go back to metal miniatures, just for how often I play.
Yeah, they're an absolute nightmare. Hey, Anthony, how's it going, mate? Yeah, they go. The problem is with Old World as well is you have such big units or such big models with like the centerpiece ones. If you've got a whole metal unit, you could literally kill someone with that. Like if you put, like. I suppose if they're like beating you really badly and you're just like, right, I'm going to get 0-20, just here's a unit of dwarf hammerers.
handful of Caltrops just thrown at your opponent. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I really do appreciate the old metal models, but they chip. They chip, they bend. Yeah, it's always when the paint is literally 20 years old. Sometimes it flakes right off.
Yeah, that's why I'm too scared to use my old dwarves. Like I've got a dwarf army from when I was a kid. I'm not playing with it. It's never happening. I'm just I don't want to chip a paint job that I did 20, 25 years ago. It's just not happening because I'll never be able to get it to the same kind of colors, right? You're just never going to do that again.
That means the new dwarf army you're painting, you have to source all the new miniatures. Like, you have to source all the old miniatures then.
Yes, yeah. So I've managed to do that. So it's been a work in progress for a little bit. But for the Iron Drakes, I am using Thunderers. So when I'm at events, I am going to have to ask everyone if they're okay to play against it. Just because obviously there's no old version of there's no metal version of Iron Drakes, right? So I'm going to use the Thunderers that have got the little dragon head on the end of the gun.
Yep.
So mainly just going to be those.
Those were 4th edition, I think.
They
were out in 5th. I can't remember in 4th or 5th.
Yeah, I think it's 5th because there is the 4th edition ones that are even the littler, shorter, chubbier ones that have got like the guns holding them up like that. Can you remember those?
No. So I started in 5th, so maybe I don't even know those models then.
So they're basically the same bodies as the dwarf spearmen that just come out recently in the made to order. That I can't imagine that many people actually bought. To be perfectly honest,
I actually didn't either.
I mean, no, I didn't get them. I can't believe you're pretty much done with the painting, mate. That's insane.
Well, I mean, I guess Grand Cathay is coming out in some future nearer than we probably expect. So there's that to do, I guess. But yeah, no, we're done. We got it all. Well, no, you know what? Actually, I just realized that I have everything but demons. And weirdly enough, I have not. I was going to build a massive demon army of all 4 gods. My buddy, one of my main opponents, Mitch, his main army is demons. He's got everything, so I don't need to cover them. I don't need them to cover them on the channel. But I'm not sure if I have been cooled off on demons. Only if taking the whole of Games Workshop, we're seeing. In 40K, the demons getting moved over into the army separate, like into Emperor's Children, into World Eaters and stuff like that. That's already happened in Age of Sigmar. Rumors that maybe demons aren't coming out as a full as a standalone army anymore in Sigmar and 40K. All of this is I don't know, it's making me feel. I don't know. The rumors that they're getting kind of shelved in those games is making me cooled off on them even in the old world. I don't know why that is, but it is some weird emotional thing I'm going through.
It is really strange though that all the rumors going that they're going to shelve them from the other editions, and then this one they're in Legacy as well. It's just really strange. Yeah. Unless there's going to be a completely new demon army coming, like they're going to redo everything. Maybe
I would love that. So back for Heresy. The Demons of Ruinstorm, I always thought that maybe sometime in the future we'll get a whole new plastic demon army. I would love to paint a full demon army for Warhammer Fantasy, for Old World, but with a uniform scheme. The demons, they really do feel and look like 4 different armies. You can blend them together in Old World and make them kind of feel like one. They're not going to work together well, but the models just don't. Like the lore and everything, it really just feels like 4 armies. I want them to be 1 army. I don't see that happening. But if a demon army came out in the old world, not that to start a rumor or anything like that, but I would like them to come out as the initial demons. They don't have to be aligned to the 4 main gods. A little bit more of a undivided type demon thing. So the army looks more unified. That's what I would really get behind that.
Yeah, if they look like the ones that come out, what were they called? The Heresy, and they were the mid-size ones.
The brutes,
if the entire army kind of looked like that would be amazing. Actually,
100%.
Get Malal on the go. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I wish that's never gonna happen, but yeah, that'd be awesome.
So I did watch a video recently about that, the Malal god, and it was Games Workshop don't own the rights to the name, do they? So they can never actually do anything with it, which is a bit of a shame.
I believe, and somebody in chat will correct me, I believe Dark Horse. Is it Dark Horse or some comic book company owns the rights to Malal, unfortunately or fortunately, but he wouldn't exist without them, so whatever. He's just a little bit of a lore nugget for us old guys.
I know, it is a little bit of a shame. Right, so while I've got you here, and there are currently people watching, I'm going to do the picking the winner for the giveaway of the Dwarf Battalion box. Going to do it live, mainly because I couldn't be bothered to do a video afterwards. So unfortunately, Steve is going to have to bear witness to this. So let's have a look. If I change it over to this screen. Right, so cool, that is working. And let's pick a winner. So we had quite a lot of comments, actually. So that was... yeah, basically like 900 comments. So let's see who gets it. So it is Templar Knight 8919 with the comment Rock and Stone. Amazing, mate. If you can message me on Discord, which is Dowie After Dark, I will get that sent over to you. Obviously, all of your details will be kept safe and everything will be deleted after that's sent out. But congratulations on the win. Right.
Awesome,
so
dude.
Get back to the... yeah, it's just... it's cool. Like, I said like near the beginning that I was going to do a giveaway at every one of the big hurdles, so I'm going to keep that going. Just get people some more dwarves.
Hey man, more people starting armies is awesome.
Yeah, exactly, and more people playing dwarves is always a good thing.
So on that note, I'll not to sidetrack too far. So in a couple of weeks, Val from Square Base is coming onto my channel to do a battle report on one of my Thursday night live streams. But we're going to do, he's going to use his competitive vampire counts that he'll brag he won a world champion in the duels with. But so next Monday, when you're on my channel, we're going to talk. I want to get you, if you want to, help me make a dwarf list to take them on. That's what we're going to do next week.
Oh, we can definitely do that, mate.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
What kind of flavor is it you want to play? Which one of the armies?
Okay, so my absolute favorite lore-wise is or not lore, playstyle, everything. I love everything about the Engineer Expeditionary Force, except no anvil. I don't think you can do no anvil.
I think it really depends. So you can do no anvil, but you're going to have to go like really heavy into like gyrocopters and potentially MSU spam units, because what the anvil does is really good for buffing the 1 or 2 units to make them loads better. But if without that, you're going to have to rely on MSU because you can only kill like a couple of units a turn, right? So if you've got units everywhere, then I think you'll be okay.
If the Expeditionary Force could take the Anvil of Doom, that would be the only one I would play.
Yes. Oh my god, it'd be so good. With the so I really like the Thunderstar list, which is like 40, 50 Thunderers with all of the bonuses on them. Like that would be so good. Just getting the anvil buff to move again. Oh, be brilliant. Be brilliant.
You think I should just do it anyway? Play Engineer Expeditionary Force? Play what I love?
Do it, mate. How many gyrocopters have you got?
6 scout, 3 regular, and 2 bombers, but nobody cares about the bombers.
Mate, that's rookie numbers. What are you doing?
Okay, all right. I can order some right now and have them ready by, because he's coming on the 17th. I can have them ready in time. How many do I need?
19 gyrocopters.
19?
Mate.
I mean, I'm going to check local GW and see how many they got in stock. Maybe we'll just do Royal Clan.
No, I mean, you'll be fine. Like, to be fair, I think Expeditionary Force will be really good as well, because you'll be able to... How many Banshees is he running?
I don't know, and actually, I almost don't want to know. I don't want to, like, tailor, because that feels dirty. Yeah.
I mean, he's running Vampire count.
One, though.
Right, he's Vampire count, so it's either going to be Scream, or it's going to be the double Black Coach build, or double Mortis, potentially. Oh my god, yes, do Slayers, that'd be sick.
Honestly, you know what? Next week we're talking about. Let them I guess wait and vote. But I have 40 something Troll Slayers, and yeah, we can make the full Slayer list. But the characters are awesome, but the Troll Slayers just don't do anything. The bane of the Troll Slayer is just trolls or anything above. I guess already infantry really.
Yeah, unfortunately. I think there's one rule that would just... Actually, no, there's 2 things that would fix Slayers and would make them really, really workable. One would be to be able to put a BSB in them so they could get the 5-up ward. Then suddenly they're really tanky, right? Sure. And then the other one would be that their death blow is done at the strength and the AP of the weapon that they're carrying. So you'd just give the entire unit great weapons, wouldn't you? So then every time they died, they would be getting a strength 5 or a strength 6 hit. It'd be amazing.
It's funny that I agree that would make them a little more usable, but like they're literally dying to do anything. Uh, I don't know. Why do they have to be
So
so bad?
it's not like they're oh, Charlie saying that double black coach is terrible. He literally just won a tournament with it on the weekend. I like it.
Oh, nice.
So it's looking like it is 2 banshees and 1 coach. So what I would suggest to do then, if you kind of know you're playing against that kind of thing, is probably go. Yeah, you want some magical artillery, right?
Of course. Oh, well, okay. Hold on. Banshees are characters, right?
Yeah, but he's got to pop them out though.
True, but the cannons can't. The cannons won't be able to really hit them. Not reliably, anyway.
No, until he gets close enough. Until he gets close, but you can definitely pop the black coach though. So that's definitely worth
True.
thinking about.
True. I don't want to tailor. I don't want to be that guy, but because he was talking to little screams. I originally thought I'll play Legacy, a Lizardman, but the way he wrote the cold blooded rule that you would roll 3 days, drop the highest against the screams. What do you think? Do you think that's going to be good? Do you think it's going to be too good against scream? Not that I don't think anybody cares about nerfing scream, but
I mean, I think it'll be good. I mean, what's the highest kind of normal leadership they can get? Is it like 9?
they're
Is it
no,
8,
they're
is
8.
it?
So they're pretty much 8 across the board except for skinks.
Yeah, all it takes for you is to spike 3 dice though, and then your entire unit's dead though, right?
Better than spiking just on 2 dice. Man, I remember. I think the first time I hit a scream, or I was on the receiving end of a scream, very early in the edition. I was playing Wood Elves. I had Wood Elf on a dragon, and I rolled boxcars, and I had leadership. I was down with 1 scream. I was down to I think it was 1 or 2 wounds. Haven't recovered.
No. To be fair, I think probably the more fun you'll have against them will be with the royal clans. Then take a solid core of the Longbeards. So then get the king in there as well. Leadership 10, re-rollable as well because of veteran.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah,
That
so
is
you might
true.
you might be better off with that.
Yeah.
Get
But
some
again, I don't want to
spell breaking
tailor. I
in
don't
there.
want to tailor. I want to make sure we have a good game. I don't want to just turn off his list and it's not fun for him to play.
No, that's true. I mean, you are playing dwarves though. They're not exactly like the strongest army in the game though, because vampire counts are. They're in like the top 3.
It's fair. It's true. I was about to like argue for the dwarf, but you're right. Vampire cards are significantly. Oh, that's significant. Yeah, you're right. Top 3. You nailed it. Top 3 for sure.
Yeah,
I think
like
we're all in agreement. Is vampire counts Tomb Kings of Bretonia?
yes.
Okay,
And
sure.
you know what? Maybe I think Bretonia might actually be lower down than Warriors of Chaos. Actually,
You think so? How come? I'm not saying you're wrong. You might be right.
yeah. No, I just think they can bully a lot more armies. I mean, there's a few armies that can absolutely smash over Bretonia, where Warriors of Chaos, it's probably Bretonia that does the best into them, right? So I think overall, I prefer Warriors of Chaos, but that just might be a bias on me, maybe.
Well, Bretonia will definitely be easier to pick up and learn and learn how to do well with. You're gonna have a higher learning curve with the vampire counts, but not the vampires, the chaos warriors of chaos. But they do literally have everything.
They do, and it like
Everything.
you've got the big T6 with Chaos Lords as well. It really annoys me. So a Chaos Lord on a dragon, big T6 monster is really hard to deal with anyway. And then suddenly they get an extra attack, they get an extra strength. It's just so annoying. And then anytime they do get stupidity, they just bloody re-roll it anyway.
So, Luke, on my channel, we've been trying a new format just for some change it up a little bit of fun. It's called low fantasy, where basically you can't bring a wizard beyond level 2, and no character can have a magic item beyond 25 points, and only 1 monster in your list. And you can play low fantasy, and the hero hammer's pretty much out of the game. And then you add a single chaos lord in the mix, and he it's the extra attacks and strength and leadership and weapon skill and ward save built in and magical attacks built in, and it's these things are just literal beefcakes.
Yeah, so if you were gonna make an army that would go really well into vampire counts, it would be the chaos, because all of their stuff has got magical attacks, so you can get in combat with the banshees. And yeah, you got the really high leadership as well from the chaos lords. They're basically the anti-vampire meta, right?
Is it really, eh?
Oh, they're so good. They're so good against them. And obviously with the puppet as well, the puppet just turns off all of the magic.
Oh, the puppet is, I regularly fight with that thing. It's got to be the best magic item in the game.
Yeah,
it's not the most, it's clearly not the most damaging item at all, but impactful, defensively.
It's pretty obnoxious. I'm just quite glad that I've never had to kind of deal with it really, because it doesn't affect bound spells. So
Yeah.
the anvil's just kind of sat there like, but yeah, it's pretty horrendous. It's definitely something you've got to think about if you're relying on any magic going into them. So like vampire counts, mortuary cult as well, kind of struggle into Warriors of Chaos because obviously they're really reliant on the spells.
True. Yeah, I think I hear a lot of grumbles about the Falconhorn, but I truly believe that the puppet is generally more impactful.
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of changes that I'd quite like to see. I would quite like the Falcon Horn to be harder to use, or it affect everyone. Like even if it was once per game, that's still absolutely amazing. There's a precedence for that in other items. Like
Yep.
Skaven have got one that turns off flying for once a game. Like I would quite like to see that, or turn off your flying as well.
Yep.
I think there should be a downside. I think so. Your pegs can't just dominate.
It is it's too powerful, but at least sometimes your opponent has no flying. When they do, like I played a Wood Elf game once, and that's when I fully realized that eagles and all these things have 2-inch move. You're still hopping around with 2 little feet all game. I'm not doing nothing with the Great Eagle when you have the Falconhorns on the table. But like you're always going to see, unless you're playing against a dwarf player, you're always going to see a wizard.
Oh,
That's why
yeah,
that,
yeah, for
that
sure.
that puppet.
So what was people saying about me in the chat then, Steve?
Did Steve tell you what the chat was saying about you? I have no idea. Right now,
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Oh, I don't know.
Did Steve tell you what his chat was saying about you? Well, it's all up. So it was all incredibly positive, and everybody's, I think, really excited for us to keep doing these chats. So
Well, that's
we're going
always
to
a
keep
good
doing
thing.
them, guys.
Nice. Well, there's yeah, there we go. Handsome fella, I'll take that, mate. I'll
Oh,
take that.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, okay, I forgot about that. In one of my live streams, I think a great deal of my audience has a crush on you, dude. I
Oh, well,
think
I'll take
I
that.
think
Thank
I
you very
blocked
much.
it out.
Love you.
You're taking my thunder.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Much love, everyone. It's definitely the axe, 100%.
That's fair. I'm gonna have to get my own.
Oh, do it. Please get one. You should get like when I do actually come over and we do a back rep, we should get like loads of little fake tattoos on you, and then I could cover all mine up.
I'm happy to do this thing. I have nothing. I have nothing against tattoos whatsoever, and I'm not afraid of needles. Like it's not a needle thing. I am terrified that something will be like a quarter millimeter off, and then I would fixate on it forever, forever, forever. I don't think I can handle it.
Now, what you need to do, so my person, because I'm literally covered everywhere. I just went for kind of quantity over quality when I was young and stupid. So no one ever just concentrates on one because there's so much crap. So it's fine.
I was overnight one day. Everybody go from none to everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So Mike, there is going to be some more team content soon. We have just started the WTC Online, which is a precursor to Worlds. So this is going to be a Warhammer, a Warhol World event, basically. But it's not just going to be national teams. There's most of the national teams are going to be in it, but there's also some private teams in as well. So I think there's going to be like 40 teams playing in it. We have grudged against Wales first, so I will be doing a video talking through the games. I probably won't post any videos of the game because they're on Warhol, and I'm not a massive fan of posting Warhol stuff. But I will be talking through. I'll be videoing about the picking the game selection, and then just kind of going through that. So there will be some content coming about that soon.
You guys already played quite often then for the teams thing.
Yeah, so we had the scrim against USA a couple of weeks ago, and then we were meant to be having a scrim against Team Wales this week, but that's kind of been postponed, so we grudged them in the WTC Online. So it's just kind of like a bit of a practice now before we go over to Worlds. But I've got a team tournament over in Italy in a couple of weeks, so if anybody's going over to that, please come over and say hi. I'd love to meet everyone. Should be good fun.
How often do you travel for an event or a tournament or anything like that for Warhammer Old World?
So This year, not so much. Last year, I was going to tournaments all around the UK, and I was probably going to 2 or 3 tournaments a week. But I've kind of calmed down this year. Like, I'm not even going to be in the Masters this year. So there's, for anybody at home that hasn't seen it, there is the UK, what's it called? The Old World, is it just Old World Rankings? I think it's just oldworldrankings.co.uk, something like that. Where you, and I think for the Masters, it's going to be like the top 15. And last year I was number 4 for that, but this year I'm not going to be in that at all, just because I haven't been going to any singles events, just because we've got a lot of team stuff going on.
Sure.
Yeah, it's good. But this year, so I've got a couple of international events. So going over to Italy, going over to Germany, and then I think that's about it. We're going to have a few. We've got a Home Nations event coming up as well, which is going to be England versus Scotland and Ireland and Wales. So that's going to be really fun. I can't wait for that. That's going to be really, really good. What about you? Have you kind of traveled? I know that you're playing Warhammer all of the time.
All the time. I suspect. Somebody from North America in chat, correct me if I'm very inaccurate on what I'm about to say, but like, I just don't feel like there's nearly that many events over here. It is a like the closest big city from where I live is an hour and a half away. That's where Val from Square Base is. Like they I think Square Base does the most events that I'm aware of, but no, they're too few and far between. So traveling would literally be traveling deep into the States, or I feel like you guys in Europe have like 2 events every weekend, if not more.
Yes.
Like big, I'm talking about big ones. I'm not talking about like local stores. So you guys have so many of them.
Yeah, I mean, we are the home of Warhammer, right? Like, it was invented in the UK. Like, Nottingham is the holy land of Warhammer. So I think there's a lot of us that play over here. Like, I can't remember how many active players there was going to tournaments in America, but considering how much smaller the UK is, I think we've got more active players, which is insane.
Oh, it makes complete sense. When you were talking earlier about rebuilding your dwarf army with old miniatures, I was thinking in my head, like, there's no chance you could do that here in North America. The miniatures aren't floating around.
Really?
If I ever, not at all. If I ever needed something, an old school miniature, like an old metal thing, I would just message my buddy Stormbolter, who lives in the UK. He'll find it over there. He'll find it on your Troll Trader or your websites, whatever. They're not here in North America. There's very few old miniatures over here. And if you do find them on like eBay on this side of the world, they're ridiculously overpriced. And he'll find them for like a couple of bucks.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get stuff over here. Like, you can trail on eBay and get some stuff really cheap, or there's a couple of like designated sites to get the older models, or there'll just be some veteran player that just has them kind of kicking around.
But you have them. You have those. Yeah, you have more of those veteran players.
Yeah, I suppose it's the people that have still been in since like the 80s and the 90s. Like, I have got so much Warhammer kicking around in my house. If I turned this camera around, which I'm not going to because it's a massive mess, I've just got crap everywhere. And I've managed to raid my parents' old house a few years ago and just got all of my old stuff as well. So I was quite happy about that.
Ireal says, I think in England, 1 in 5 lads have owned a box of GW in their lifetime. If that's true, I doubt 1 in 5 people in North America have even heard of Warhammer.
So there's an interesting one. So in my day job, I meet a lot of different people. I work with the general public and I see different people every single day. And I am quite open about the fact that I play Warhammer. I don't know what it's like in North America or around the world for anybody that's watching, but in England, it's almost like a little dirty secret Warhammer. Like, you don't talk about it. But like, if you talk about something and then someone kind of twig, you kind of give them the nod and you're like, oh yeah, Space Marines, eh? And you just kind of talk to them. I'm quite open about it. Like, people will ask me what I've been up to on the weekend, and I'll be like, but in a tournament playing, and they'll be like, Warhammer, yeah. And you'd be surprised the amount of people that know about Warhammer or play Warhammer or secretly just collect. And that's really interesting, or know somebody that has. I would say most people have either bought a box of them or had a look. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially in this country, I can imagine it's definitely not the same over with.
No, see, this makes me want to. I want to live over there now. I'd rather live in that kind of culture. No, over here, like if anybody ever asks, "Hey, Steve, what do you do for a living?" I'll answer very simply, "You've heard of Warhammer." Then when they say no, I say, "I just do YouTube," because it's just not heard of.
Oh, do you want to know something really funny? So this is quite embarrassing, actually. So I'm really glad I'm doing this live. But when I first met my partner, she was like, "Oh, so what do you do for hobbies?" And I was like, "Oh, I play Warhammer." And she spent a good 2 months thinking that I meant, like the Scottish Highland Games, like throwing the hammers. That was genuinely what she thought I meant, which is kind of hilarious. But yeah, as soon as she come around my house and then saw all the little figures everywhere, was kind of like, what the hell's this? I was like, Warhammer. It's like, oh, it's like, oh, you play with dollies. Oh, okay.
I do, and I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny.
So yeah, that was pretty embarrassing, but
See,
it is what it is.
over here, we wouldn't even get anybody to make that mistake. Warhammer, what are you talking about? We don't throw hammers at things. It's just so out there, so different from everything else around here. Like, again, growing up, so I've been in this hobby. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I've been in this hobby technically almost my entire life, as long as I remember. But like all my buddies growing up, they just weren't into it. They'd be supportive and like play games with me, be be good friends or whatever. But it wasn't a thing over here.
Yeah. I sorry, I'm not single. Sorry, I do.
Oh no! I can't wait for the next stream.
So funny enough, that comment from me was actually just my partner downstairs. So
good. Let my chat know you can't have them.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. Yeah. So it was mentioned earlier about who was it that said that about the TV show? Yeah, I think once Henry Cavill's TV show drops, I think there'll be a lot more people around the world that know about it for sure. I don't know if I don't know what's going to come. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be really weird seeing this kind of niche hobby that we all really like go really mainstream. Obviously, it's a lot more mainstream from when I first started playing it in the 90s. So I don't know. Sure. It's going to be really, really interesting to see the future, whether it's going to be good for the game or is Games Workshop just going to get even more and more corporate. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose.
It's going to happen. It is. I mean, it's probably for the betterment of all of us. The hobby, the player base is growing rapidly. No, it's a good thing. I mean, it's a different player base, but it's always going to be the case. We're aging, and the games are. Sorry, I'm going down this whole thing. I've recently become disillusioned with 40K, and I'm just worried that one day that's going to happen with Old World 7th edition, where it's just not my game anymore. It's too much scoring, and the units of dragons, the units of ancient dragons, are getting too powerful, and I can't wait to be that guy.
Yeah, well, it's going to be like that. Mate, it'll get to Old World version 3, and we'll be like, I'm only playing 1. I'm going back. Yeah. I'm getting a comp. Yeah. I'm playing 1.5 forever. Be one of those guys.
I'm going to have the old Hammer channel where we just play Old World version 1. Back in my day, there was no magic phase.
Yeah. Remember when toughness 6 was hard to kill?
Yeah, exactly. Now every goblin chieftain's toughness 6.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll go down that ride. It'll be fun.
Yeah. So literally it is over here when so it's normally Space Marines. When you ask somebody, it's like, oh, what army? And it's always like, Dark Angels. That's normally like oh, I love it. Yes, we are grognards now, unfortunately, mate. Yeah, that's a thing.
One day, every one of you who isn't a grognard, you're gonna wake up one day and realize you are.
Yeah, I think especially most people that are playing Old World as well. Like, I've definitely got my favourite edition of fantasy outside of Old World, because I've been quite open about the fact that Old World is my favourite edition of fantasy. It's a lot better for me. I know obviously there are some issues and stuff, but there are a hell of a lot of issues in other games. But yeah, I think if you've got a favourite edition of fantasy that was potentially come out around the same time you were born, you're a grognard, unfortunately.
Yeah. Do you have to deal with a lot of people like just calling you a liar on that? Every time I say Warhammer: The Old World is my favorite edition of fantasy, I get called a shill. I'm like, that's not true. You just say that because it's your job. Like, no, it legitimately is my favorite edition of Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Like I've got quite specific kind of people commenting on my videos. I suppose people only find me if they like Old World, so I've got a really nice positive kind of following on here, which is really nice.
Oh, excellent.
And everybody that kind of comments does like Old World, so no one's called me a liar on that. I mean, the thing is, I wouldn't have started the YouTube channel about it because mine's very focused on Old World. I can imagine
Yep.
if I was doing I don't know, a 40k one as well, then maybe. But I think because everything's quite Old World centric, and I play a hell of a lot of Old World as well. Like I play it so much, and yes, I am just really happy that fantasy's back. To be perfectly honest,
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
it's just nice that it's back in popularity as well. Because it was really hard to try and convince people to play a dead game. So I
Yeah,
was playing sixth edition quite regularly. I was in like big narrative campaigns, which were super, super fun. So basically, there was a guy over here called Alexander that used to run them, and they were like about 35, 40 person events, which for a dead game is massive in the UK. And he used to have
sure.
this really big board, and he would have like all the clippings of the different armies on, and it'd be like this big map of the old world, and you'd all get in like a chat before the event, and you'd be like, right, what do we want to do? What's our targets? Oh, I'm going to go for Marienburg. It's like, oh, well, if I send my force down to Marienburg, and I'll send mine up to Null, and then we'll do a pincer movement and stuff like that. And it was just really cool. Like, I can't wait for something like that to come into Old World, and I really hope that somebody starts doing stuff like that soon, because that's probably
Oh,
some of the most fun I've had playing fantasy, actually.
so during the dead times, was
The dark
the
times.
dark times, was everybody over in, well, not every, broad strokes, your groups, all of the groups I hear that kept playing the game in the dark times played sixth edition, some seventh, but mostly sixth, from Australia or Europe. Now, the three groups that I know of that kept playing over here in this side only played eighth edition. Is I find it was eighth in North America and then sixth everywhere else. Is my experience in that accurate? Was there any groups that you know of that kept playing eighth edition?
Yeah, so there's quite a big group
Oh,
of
okay.
who were playing eighth over here. So you've got the Cardiff Crusaders that were the mainly eighth edition, I think, and the Dr. Luke Blacksill. So his group of friends, they all carried on playing eighth, and then they
Did
started
they?
playing
Okay.
like a fat like I never carried on playing eighth, so I'm going to butcher it if I talk about it. So I'm not even going to talk about it because I'll completely butcher it. But they changed it a lot, and they did like a lot of comps to it, and it turned into a much more playable version of eight
Oh,
afterwards.
I wasn't aware of that. I just assumed they all moved over to the ninth age.
So there were quite a lot that moved over to Ninth Age for sure. I
I just
never
assumed.
even I never even tried Ninth Age personally. I just jumped straight back into sixth and seventh actually.
That take much convincing. Like, how does a group of people who've been playing this game for random, like everybody's playing different amount of different lengths of time. You're playing eighth edition, end times happens, and then a bunch of people around the world, a bunch of groups around the world jump back to sixth edition. Like, where's the discussion? Was it like, oh, yeah, let's do sixth again, or you know what? Are you really like? How do you go back two editions?
So the evolution. So it's quite a funny story about how I got back into it. So there was three of us that wanted to get back into it. I had my dwarves. My mate Alex had Bretonians, and then my friend Dave, he had, I think it was Dark Elves at the beginning. We were like, right, we want to play some games, and Alex was like, well, I want to play an edition where Bretonians aren't shit. So can we play sixth, please? Because they're quite good in sixth, and that's the reason why we jumped back into sixth, just so his army was more playable. But then it turns out that dwarves are absolutely broken in edition, so that was good fun.
Wasn't Bretonia better in seventh than in sixth?
I think they were about the same, really. Like cavalry was
Well,
just absolutely insane. I mean, it's the same book. Like they never got an updated book, even in eighth edition.
yeah, I'm trying to remember the rules, but like in seventh, I just remember seventh being like the Cav focused edition, and I can't remember why. Did sixth? You played a lot. What's last time you played sixth? Did Cav require 10 models to break ranks in sixth, or is that only eighth?
I think that was only eighth. I think it was
Okay,
five in yeah. I'm pretty sure it was five in sixth edition. I think the main bonus
five
though
models
was
or five unit strength.
5 unit strength. I think.
Okay, so you okay?
Yeah, so just cav are just smashing through, right? There was it's the guessing movement as well, because the movement's so
Mm,
quick on the cavalry. You're just always guaranteed a charge, aren't you? So you could
yeah.
go. That's probably about 10 inches, and always guarantee a charge. Like cavalry was just too strong in 6th edition. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, it's weird. I guess I haven't played a lot of games with the older editions, but I always remember seventh as the Cav edition.
Yeah, it was just a tightened version of 6th edition, though, wasn't it? I think. Whereas old
It,
world
well,
now,
it, it,
we've definitely got the monsters. Oh yes, and the auto breaking with fear. That was horrendous. I'm so glad that's not a thing anymore. Can you imagine that now in old world? It'd be horrendous.
we don't need to buff undead anymore. I hate undead. I hate him so much.
Yeah,
I
it is
don't.
cheesy. It is cheesy. So it's really when I'm in a singles event and I get paired into like mortuary cult. Now I always play dwarves and I really like running the royal clans. And I just look at a mortuary cult army and I'm like, right, I have one turn to beat this. If it just goes wrong, then I'm going to lose this game horrendously badly. Or I can just stay on the other side of the board and just draw with you. And that's not something that you want to consider when you're trying to win an event, right?
I'll take the draw. I'm a coward.
I always try and go for it, to be fair. Like, it does work out sometimes. It's because you need to stop with the illusion. If you can stop the illusion and you're close enough, you get them. But if they have a little bit too much move behind them so they can move backwards out of your charge range, then you're screwed and you can't do it. I've lost 2 competitive games against Mortuary Cult. One was against Bryn, who has the Imperishable YouTube channel. He's a really good Mortuary Cult player. He plays for Team Wales. He beat me once. I've never let it stand and always beaten him since, so it's fine. And then there's Andy from the Old World show. He beat me with Mortuary Cult as well, and that was really annoying game. So he played it absolutely perfectly. I managed to stop the TMP, stop the illusion, but because we were playing Mountain Pass, he just had too much wiggle room behind. Managed to get out of me, so I couldn't charge him, and then that was it. Then I was just stuck. Which is the problem with the dwarves. If you overstretch yourself, you just get smashed. So I did see. Obviously, you're playing against Val, which is going to be a more competitive game, right?
Yeah, it is.
Are you going to start doing some more competitive games soon?
I will throw it in the rotation because there's a section of the audience that likes it and wants it. I honestly don't like it.
Ooh.
But let me explain because it's not that I don't. It sounds very charged when I say it that way, because if that was the only way I could play, I would still play. You know what I mean? Like, it's talk about I don't hate it. I'm going to quit the game because I don't like competitive. It's there's a lot to unpack here with the way I think about this. I've always kind of liked competitive Warhammer fantasy, and this is Old World is the only edition where I don't of all of them. But again, I've also historically never really liked getting into close combat in Warhammer Fantasy games until we've postured for 3 turns and I set everything up perfectly and we go in for one decisive turn and kind of end it all there. I want to fight when I have a significant advantage. But Old World is the first edition where I'm happy to get into close combat on turn 1. Because your units fall back in good order. You're in a different position. Now your unit you expected to fall back and go 3 inches this way is now 12 inches that way because it ran through 2 units, and it's just wacky. I just really enjoy the many possible outcomes that combat now gives you, because you don't just like, oh, I got into combat too early in a bad position and I lost the game. Now, competitively, stuff can happen, sure. But I'm playing in your general game of Warhammer, like when you're not trying to play like the most top tier stuff all the time. So I just really enjoy the rank and flank fun of the fight that when I'm playing. So I did a competitive game very recently, just a couple of weeks ago, and the whole game was measuring, okay, how far can you move this way? And I was doing this whole thing where I'm playing like older editions where it's delay until we have to go in now and get the points we need to get. And it was a fine game, but it wasn't the goofy fun that I've come to enjoy in the old world. So competitive old world plays like the way I used to play for a long time. Like even in 8th edition, I was very slow play. Wait until time's on my side. But now it's just I just love getting in there, rolling dice with the old world, and I just feel like I can't do that. You're not respecting the competitive play if you do that right now. If any of that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I do completely get that.
And you don't have to agree.
No. See, I really like games like that. The ones where you kind of like goading your opponent. It's like, will they, won't they charge? Are you going to charge into this bit? Oh, I've given you a flank so that my hero can jump up and smash you. Like, I love stuff like that. It makes complete sense. I really enjoy, personally, I really enjoy playing like that. It's just everybody likes different things, right?
Yeah. So a thing that's a big part of it too is I've never been a fan of Hero Hammer, which is a part of the reason why I liked 8th edition. Which even though I recognize 8th edition is not great, you had a big Death Star and that did the work, whatever. But right now in Old World, a disproportionate amount of the damage done to your opponent's army is done by your characters, in my opinion. Now, when you can tone it down, and even when you tone it down, you're not bringing dragons or ridden monsters or like totally tuned up characters. In a character on foot in a unit of infantry is still going to do the vast majority of the combat res. And I've never liked Hero Hammer. And then in competitive world, every list I make or play against, I'm not saying it's wrong to do it. It's kind of how it works, but you're going to put 1,000 points into characters. They're going to get the work done. They're going to do everything. So it's not Warhammer. Competitive the Old World to me is Hero Hammer, and Warhammer the Old World for me is the first edition that really plays Warhammer. Like, I know when 6th edition came out, they tried to move away from the Hero Hammer and bring blocks of infantry and rank and flank, and they tried to like really put a focus on the infantry. But this is the first one that I feel like they've done it right where I want to. Even though you ask the vast majority of the internet, and they'll say infantry is unplayable this edition. And in my opinion, it's the first edition where they're really playable.
Yeah, like a few of the armies that are top tier. I'm going to do that in just quotation.
Yeah.
Just some of the stronger armies are just all infantry. Like the goblin spam, which is the massive units of goblins. That's all infantry. The undead armies, those are all infantry. Like I'm quite happy to say, like, I think dwarves are they're relatively top tier. I'd say they're like high B tier. I think they're quite good. I mean, I don't use anything else, so I've got to say that, right? But I only use infantry, and I kind of weirdly get called out quite a lot. So if I'm on somebody else's channel, for instance, there'll always be like 1 or 2 people that comment saying, but this guy took loads of gyrocopters. And I was like, I took that once. Like, I've played hundreds and hundreds of games just with infantry, and then I take gyrocopters once. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I just saw a comment about if terrain goes to mouse pads, it's out. I agree with that. The terrain needs to look immersive. I completely agree.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just if I could make a change, and I couldn't, I don't have the power or the actual ability to rewrite rules to change anything, I actually wouldn't change Magic. I think it's fine. I know a lot of people like want their more dynamic or resource focused Magic phase, but I would like to tone down Hero Hammer. But I don't want to make everybody else in the world play the way I want to play, so that's not fair.
No, exactly. This is not us trying to start a revolution, so don't listen.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd quite like to see 33%, or maybe even drop it down to 25%. Then I think that would tone down quite a lot. You know, like you can take a dragon, but that's it. Or you could take one real hyped up level 4 caster, and that's it. Like, and I could take a dwarf king, and that was it potentially. Like, I think some games like that would be quite fun.
So even if you were to do that, you're still going to have pick any random unit, a high elf spearman, and you throw down a prince in that unit and give him magic items, whatever. That unit is now going to beat pretty much every other unit on the table that doesn't have a character. Now that kind of makes sense, but it just means like it's because the units are throwing so few dice, which is kind of the reason why I like this game. Like when you only roll 6 dice, you might get 6 hits and 6 wounds or none. I do like that, but the characters, because everything is so toned down to the point where they're at where I like them, that the characters, even with 33% characters, is going to carry every unit.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. So I've taken minimum character points to a tournament once, and that went quite well. So I played Expeditionary Force, and I took a 50-point engineer, which is the one you have to take, and I didn't
Yeah,
take any other heroes, and I had a whale of a time at that event. It was really fun,
I love that
and
to death.
yeah, and you can do that. Every army can do that. It's just there's a lot of obvious picks. It's like you look at something that's like toughness 6 or can buff itself to high heaven, and it's in one place and it's easy to paint because it's one model rather than 100. And you look at that and you're like, right, that's the easy pick. But you could definitely go minimum heroes and still have a good time and still also win games. Like you probably won't win an event or win like every single one of your games, but
No.
you can still win them 100%.
Yeah, but winning isn't everybody's goal. I've learned doing this for as long as I have people coming to play me from around the world. Not everybody's goal is to win, and sometimes people just want to throw down goofy things and literally do a weird narrative character that it was an engineer that won a game from one time and now he's the Empire General. But like just so people don't get me wrong, like I hating on Hero Hammer. There's more. It's not like it's wildly disbalanced and you're just going to win because you brought a better hero than your opponent. I've had so many games where my opponent Luca would bring an Empire captain who has got like the worst stats in the game, and that captain trounces me. And I'll bring a Chaos Lord, and I'll roll 6s and 5s every time on his Eye of the Gods table, and now I have like 15 attacks and they're strength 12, and I whiff. My characters are unreliable. I know before hold on. I know I roll above average. I'm aware. Don't jump down my throat. I know I roll too well. Not with my fighty characters. Just my infantry and my wizards and all my shooting.
Oh mate, I'm literally the opposite. All I roll is ones. I had a T-shirt
I wish I
made a
could say
couple of
that.
years ago with just re-rolling ones. Just like it's hilarious how bad I roll. And yes, I would love fighting 2 ranks. Can you imagine how good dwarves would be if they got fighting 2 ranks? It'd be insane.
Do you think that's going to happen?
I don't know. I genuinely can't call it. There's been a few of the FAQs that I've just been like, that's so left field that I just don't even think it's worth even trying to think about what Games Workshop's going to do. Like, it's all in the fate of the Chaos Gods at this point. I think I don't know. Like, there was meant to be that pack coming, wasn't there? Like at the beginning of the year, which was going to be the Throne of Skulls pack for everyone to play, but that never comes. So I don't know what they're going to change. It'd be interesting to see if they do change up quite a bit. Fighting in 2 ranks would be very spicy. I would like that. That would make infantry very good indeed, I think.
I don't think. I'm trying to find the one unit that would greatly benefit from it, but I don't think it will throw off the game as a whole. Adding a few extra dice is not going to be that big a deal.
No, no. I mean, there's not. I suppose chaos it could potentially make it. It might make chosen usable though, right?
I play with and against Chosen often enough that I don't. I don't think. I don't think Chosen are going to benefit from it as much as other units because Chosen are still very, very expensive. In that one turn, they're going to do very well, but then they've lost models and they've probably lost attacks. You can't really have a unit of 20 Chosen without putting all your eggs in one basket. So I normally see them in squads of 15, 5x3 or 6x2. So they're going to lose ranks. They're going to lose models the second rank and not get the attacks. I think it's really going to benefit the really cheap things like goblins, undead, even an elven spearman fighting an extra rank. Oh, I guess spears get the least value out of it. They get 50% more attacks and 100% more attacks.
Yeah, maybe they could fight in an extra rank.
An extra rank?
Extra, or get 2 supporting attacks, maybe.
No, come on. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. The spear is already too good of a weapon.
Oh, can you imagine how that would be a lot of attacks from a goblin unit, wouldn't it? That'd be horrendous.
So, actually, fighting in 2 ranks might make because right now, in my opinion, the spear is great weapon is the best weapon in the game because great weapons are too good. But beyond that, the spear is probably the best weapon after that. But if halberds can fight in 2 ranks, you'll probably even see Warriors of Chaos use halberds again.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what the what's the Jade Cavalry called again? The Jade Lancers. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
really excited to see what their weapon is. Obviously, it's been called a lance on like
right.
3 separate different things, but the fighting in 2 ranks, thing is gross, and also the following up on give ground with it is insane. I've had a couple of people saying that it's just going to be a spear, but if it's a spear, why are they called lancers?
That's true. You know what? Games Workshop can make them really powerful out of the box, or out of the release, and let's just run with it for a while. Make them full lances and fighting in 2 ranks. But okay, hold on. So not to start some rumors, but let's start some rumors.
I heard they were T5.
+1 to wound. They have 40k lance roll. No, okay. So, but I mean, we were talking about that pack that never came out, and I don't know. The rumors of third edition Heresy coming out this summer is, I don't even think it's a safe bet. Not even close to a safe bet anymore. They revealed Grand Cathay at Adepticon last week. Something big has got to be coming out this summer. So maybe a pack comes out then. And if Jade Lancers are attacking in 2 ranks, maybe that's not going to be, maybe around the same time we have a pack coming out where that's not that outside the norm.
Yeah. I think we're going to see a big shift. I think it's going to be a massive FAQ. Yeah. Maybe get some points changes potentially. I reckon a couple of rules might get added. Hopefully some scenarios. It'd be quite nice if we got, like, the General's Handbook from Sigma, and is it like chapter approved from 40k?
Yep.
I would be quite happy if we got something like that. And I can see that potentially coming, because some of the new rules in Cathay are a bit like,
Yeah. No, I mean, that would mean we would probably get one every year, and I would love that to death.
Yes, yeah. I think 1 a year is perfect, and especially after this year as well, because we've got so much excitement about all of the new Arcane Journals coming, but obviously that's almost done. So we're just going to be new armies and then potential just extra stuff, right? So what else do you think's coming? We've got to get Kislev soon. Like, Dogs of War have got to be coming eventually. Like, they've got to be coming. I want some Birdmen.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, they remember a couple months ago when they messed up the website and they showed off parts of the map. We were talking about that a while ago. I'm like, there was those Hobgoblin cons. There's so many things. They gotta put another undead army in the game. It's got to be. I'm still to this day hoping for Vampire Coast.
Yeah, no, that would be insane. Like, how cool would that be if the Jade Lancers fighting 2 ranks is because that becomes a game-wide thing? That'd be pretty nuts. Cavalry would be too strong. Be too strong.
Well, but okay, so I think Cavalry's in a good spot right now, actually. Not everybody agrees with that, but I don't think anybody's claiming Cav is too strong, right? Is anybody, do you know how hold the opinion that currently heavy Cav is too strong?
No. I mean, the reason Bretonnia are doing so well is because they're flying cavalry, right?
Yeah, that's it. Like, only those flying skirmish ones. I mean, the new plastic kit for Hyles came out, the Illyrian Reavers. Their article talks about them being like these amazing cav charging unit. They're sold in boxes of 10. Maybe they thought that they're gonna be fighting in 2 ranks and they're gonna be a combat unit. I mean, they're still not gonna be good when you do that, but for combat reasons. But maybe that is a thought that's on their minds, that let cav charge in 2 ranks, let infantry fight in 2 ranks when they don't charge. I'm okay with that change across the board.
100%. So we have hit we've just gone over the hour mark, actually. Mm-hmm. Should we leave it there, mate? So we've got some stuff to talk about next week on yours.
We'll be back.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and we will catch you next Monday over on Mountain Miniatures. Is there anything you want to say before you go, mate?
Nah, just Val's going to kick my butt in a couple of weeks, and Richie here's going to help me hold him back a little bit.
Nah, you've got this, mate. We're coming for you, Val.
Oh, here, brother, I'm going to tell you right now why I'm doing it this way, because if I lose, I'm blaming you.
Oh, you can't do that to me.
And if I win, I'm taking all the glory.
That's entirely fair. Right, see you later, guys. See ya. Bye.